Right folks, the moment has come. I finally decided to do a video on those crazy products that we call tone enhancers. And in this video, I'm going to compare and contrast three tone enhancers, namely the all-new Yanni Booster, the Corey Brothers tone tablet. Let me hold it very carefully for you because it's tiny, you may miss it. And finally, the Reed Geek Klang Bogen. So the idea of these products is that they attach to this general area of the saxophone, which is known for having a bit of a problem in that we have all these wonderful vibrations coming down the neck of the saxophone, but there's a disturbance at this area due to the fact that this bit locks onto this bit and the vibrations get disturbed. They can get disturbed by the very joint itself, or often by the paraphernalia around this area here. So we have lyre holders, and we have a hole where the lyre holder would go into. And the idea of, first of all, the tone tablet is that it plugs this gap here and allows the vibrations to carry on in their true and natural way. So that's the first device there, the tone tablet. That's what it's doing there. It's plugging this tiny little gap here and creating something that's kind of perfect again, if you like, without that hole. And then we have the Klang Bogen, and this one attaches into the lyre holder here. Sorry, I should say it attaches to the lyre screw. In fact, it can actually attach to the screw on the other side, the neck tightening screw. I think it works both ways, but I'm going to be attaching it here to the neck screw. So you remove the screw and simply lock the Klang Bogen in place, and it sits in front of the saxophone like this, and then it just creates its own resonance field. This is the theory behind it anyway, and I'm going to test the theory today. And then finally, the newest product in is the Yanni Booster. And the idea again here is that it replaces, in fact, the traditional neck screw and adds a whole lot of mass in this area. And in fact, you can build up the mass because you may see there that there are three parts to it. You've got a basic, large, oversized screw, and then you've got two add-on bits to it that just simply increase the size of the screw, thereby increasing, the vibrational field and all of that jazz. So we've got three products. I'm going to compare them. I say so slightly nervously because it goes without saying really that what we're doing here is we're adding microcosmal, is that even a word, elements to the saxophone. It's already a completely perfectly vibrational tube. So it might seem like a lot of marketing trickery on the face of it, but hopefully I'm going to put everything in its context and explain to you exactly personally what I feel about it and the results that I get as I put these devices on. I should say that for years now we've stocked these kind of products, and I have always been impressed when I've met the men behind the designs of these things. For example, the guy Mauro, who is behind the Reed Geek stuff and these beautifully designed Klang Bogens. At first I sort of approached him with a wry smile, thinking this can't possibly make a difference to what I'm doing on the saxophone. And I don't know if it's the enthusiasm of the man standing right there in front of me, and you see the reaction on his face literally as you plug the thing in, you start playing, and he hears these differences, and then you feel that you're hearing them as well. I don't know how much it's him or how much it's me actually enjoying and feeling these differences myself, or perhaps a combination of the two. But right now Mauro's not here to influence me, so it's just simply me in front of a camera and you guys, and I'm going to try them out cold, and I'm going to try them one against the other as well, because I've never tried them in comparison to one another, so this could be an interesting little test. So let's get going. So what I'm going to do is keep it nice and scientific. Obviously I'm just going to play my own setup for you for a little bit, just a small phrase, and then we're going to edit it down so that you can hear back to back what the products are actually doing. Well, it's really hard to come out with an obvious conclusion. And in fact, at first, I thought I was going to tell you that again, I find myself surprised at the difference these little devices make, because the first one I put in was the little tone tablet. And my playing seemed to improve actually on that take when I had the tablet in there. I felt that the bottom F sharp was more stable, and then it carried on all the way through the range with more stability throughout that whole phrase. And then things got more interesting when I went on to the next one. So I think I tried the Klangbogen next, and I heard some slightly different qualities again. So things were getting interesting. Don't ask me to describe what those qualities were. Sometimes it's more something that you feel inside you than anything that you can necessarily hear, although Jamie standing over there was making some noises to suggest that he could hear some differences as well. And then for my own sanity, having tried those first two devices, I thought I'd just go back to trying my plain regular setup just to see where we got to. And I was surprised, or perhaps not surprised actually, that my tone had moved on another level again. And I think it was largely to do with the fact that I had then relaxed and settled into my setup, the tenor, the fact that I'm a few more minutes into playing now, and my tone had adjusted again without the actual addition of a tone aid. So whereas I thought perhaps it was these devices giving me this little bit of extra something, and I'm not saying that they weren't, perhaps they were giving me this extra something, just removing them again and just playing with the natural setup that I've got in front of me, the tone changed again a little bit, as I say. So we're talking such fine margins here when it comes down to it. That's not to say that they don't do anything. I think that the more you play with these devices and use them and get used to them as part of your regular setup, I think you find that they are adding an extra little element in there. I'm sure that if you were to, say, use the clam bogan on a regular basis and then remove it, you'd feel like something is just a little bit missing. So from that point of view, they are really worth considering if you take everything seriously. You know, you want to maximize your tonal potential. Saxophone playing is really important to you to the utmost, and you want to squeeze all the juice out of your sound response, the way you feel when you play, because I think there can also be psychological advantages. If you know that you've got everything sorted and corrected where there could be some problems, it's going to give you that extra boost of confidence, and I think that is a big element as well. Okay, moving on to the third device. So the new Yanni Boost Star here. I can't honestly describe to you how it felt like it may have differed from the other devices. Suffice to say that every time I did a take, it felt like there was something slightly different going on perhaps. But for a bit of a laugh, as you can see here, I've got all three devices on. I played all three of them together for you just to see what that does. You'll probably get the makers of all the devices saying, no, don't do it. One cancels out the other. It's a disaster. You can't use all three at once. But hey, looks rather cool, doesn't it? And I think we got some results when we put all three together. So I can only leave it like that, really. The jury is out. I'm sure there will be comments, people saying that was a load of rubbish, it didn't make any difference. And then some people perhaps saying, I prefer this one, I prefer this one. I don't know. Let's just see what rolls out from this. But I thought the most important thing to do was to just play them for you so that you could hear them for yourself, rather than just leave them as a product on the website with various bits of blurb attached to them. You've now heard them, you've heard them back to back, and hopefully you can make up your own minds.